Hi, my name is Kasper René Johansen and I'm your YouTube philosopher. I actually been studying philosophy for a little over 20 years now, and it's been quite a philosophical process. It's been quite a journey towards something, some enlightenment, and recently I finally came towards something tangible, some sort of self-declarations or statements, philosophical statements or guidelines, you can say. They are very philosophically useful in order to attain what the Greeks call eudaimonia and Ataraxia, which means something like happiness and peace of mind. They will actually probably give you some peace of mind if you really think thoroughly about these 5 statements and try to live them. And that's the hard part, to try to live them out, so to speak. But of course, during these 20 years of philosophizing, I have probably been philosophizing for all my life, but in these 20 years that I know what philosophy was, and I was actually studying it, reading my Nietzsche and my Plato and so forth, there's been a lot of truths, and some truths have come and gone again, and some truths have stayed with me. But in this video, it's about something I came up recently. That's something I've really been pondering out about for years. Some really good guidelines. The point is with these 5 statements is you really have to, if you really live by them and you really try to think like these statements, kind of live them out in the real world, but also really try to hammer them into your head, it will guarantee you peace of mind and eudaimonia. But of course they're very hard to live out, and I struggle with them myself. You have to know about these statements, that they may seem like common sense, like I know that, but that's the point. You know them, but you're not aware how important they are. And that's my point with these 5 statements, that they might seem common sense, but they are so important to reach this eudaimonia, or to reach this ataraxia. Statement number 1 is learn to accept that often there is a lot of work, duties and chores to be done by you. And that's even when you're tired, stressed, sad, or most of all just want to be left in peace by yourself. Other people feel the same way. That's the first statement. And to explain it more thoroughly, of course you have to accept that that's most of us. Most of us often, or some, they have it very often. They have it most of the time, at least for a period in their life. But most of us, we have it often or sometimes, that there's a lot of work and duties and chores to be done. I'm a father to a small girl at 2 years, so I know there's a lot of chores to be doing. And I have my duties towards her and the household and my wife, and I have my work duties as well. There's a lot of chores to be done, and I have to do them. That's the point here. In order to reach ataraxia, your peace of mind, that is, this also has to be done even when you're tired, very tired, or stressed, or sad, and most of all just don't want to be doing them. You just want to be left in peace, and of course sometimes you try to be at peace, but that's not all possible, and that's the important statement here. Learn to accept that you have these chores and duties and so on, even when you're stressed, sad and tired. If you do not accept it, you will not have your peace of mind. And that's my point with this statement. And also the thing, other people feel the same way. It's not just for you, it's everybody that probably has the, unless you're extremely rich and you don't have any chores or duties, but that's probably not true. Famous people, rich famous people, they have chores and duties and things that have to be done. The second statement is other people do not behave as you hope. They usually don't do as you expect them to do or hope they will do. And this is actually okay. And they feel the same about you. And the important thing with this statement that you have some hopes and ideas and expectation about people in general, but also you have this about people you love, your friends and so forth. You expect them to behave in a certain way and hope they behave in a certain way or do certain things. You expect them to do certain things, but you must accept that often they do not behave as you want them to. They do not behave as you like them to do or do what you hope. And that's the important thing here. They don't. So you might as well accept that in order to reach this eudaimonia and ataraxia, this happiness and peace of mind. You must accept this at all time. And the important thing also in this statement, they feel the same thing about you. So not just you who expect them to behave in a certain way, they think the same about you. So every time you point at others, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. Now the third statement, look to the man in the mirror. If the world, and that's your world, you can say, if the world is a shitty place to be in, then start changing his or her ways. The one in the mirror, start changing yourself before you want the world to change. Before you want other people to change, change yourself. Said in another, more funny way, I hope. If you think this is a shitty world, don't be a shit yourself. And that's the point here, that you want to change something. You can release all that anger and frustration on the world and on other people, but it won't get you eudaimonia. It won't get you ataraxia. It won't get you happiness and peace of mind. But if you start changing your way and your thinking, this will get you to peace of mind better than the other way around. So that's the point in the statement. Now statement number 4 is the best kind of anger is the one that comes very late. This is not mine, but it's something I have as an important statement, as a big truth. It's from the Roman philosopher, the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca, who comes to this conclusion about anger in his on anger, that the best kind of anger is the one that's very late, that comes very late, that is prolonged, one can say. And that's an important statement. If you feel this frustration and anger, don't release it right away, because it most of the time doesn't reach to anything good in the long run. So let it come out late. Try to sit at it and see if it vaporizes itself. I didn't say that these statements, philosophical statements, that they were easy to live by or easy to get it hammered into your head and just live. They're not. And this is maybe one of them. If you have a problem with anger, it's not easy with number 4, that you just have to have a late, prolonged anger and release it later. And that's the point, you shouldn't have the anger later on if you don't release it. But this is a hard one to live, but it will get you closer to this peace of mind and happiness. Now the last one, statement number 5, is learn to say to yourself, I don't give a fuck. And actually don't fucking care about whatever it is. Remember, indifferent people, the ones that really don't give a shit, they're not angry, they're not sad, they're not bitter, and they're not full of worries, but they are happy, and they have Ataraxia and eudaimonia. That's the point here. Learn to be what the Stoic call untouchable. You don't want to be affected by anything. You basically, and that's a Stoic idea that comes back from ancient Greece in order to attain Ataraxia, peace of mind. That's to be unaffected, to don't give a fuck. So that's a very important statement of us. Learn to don't give a fuck about whatever it is. I don't have that much like on YouTube, or I don't have many likes on my photo on Instagram. My boss, he doesn't really care about me, and all, whatever it is. Learn to be more unaffected by it from an emotional standpoint. Learn to don't give a fuck and say, I don't give a fuck. Wasn't it the first one? Learn to accept that sometimes there are more duties and work and so on. You can see that to get this Ataraxia. So they correlate all these statements like that. Can you do something about it? Can you look in the mirror and do something yourself? Is that possible? That's statement number 3. So these are my 5 philosophical statements that you should live by, if you're able to it. And these may seem like common sense, but good philosophical statements should be common sense, I believe. They should be tangible and understandable. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next.